I've spent the past 2 years diving into the cringiest mainstream comics known to man in my series, Cringe Comic Reads, but sometimes a single page tells you all you need to know. We've all seen this gem of a turd, I'm sure. It's from a 5-page backup story in Amazing Spider-Man 31 by writer Zeb Wells and artist David Lopez. In it, Spider-Man catches a newly resurrected Kamala Khan up to speed after her sacrifice a few issues prior. Let's dive in, and I'll give you context along the way. Trust me, you'll need it. Our journey into cringe starts here, with a profile shot of Kamala staring out in front of her with a smile on her face and the cityscape behind her. It's strange because she's wearing a smile, something which you would think would be warm and inviting, but instead it's cold. Her eyes are big, but they're not expressive, they're blank. They're staring ahead and not looking at us, the audience, and yet we still feel as empty as she does, cold and dead on the inside. I just can't get over her eyes. They're just so dull and lifeless.
Lifeless eyes. Black eyes like a doll's eyes.
Which is actually fitting considering she was just dead. I guess we need to talk about it. Ms. Marvel's death is one in a long line of pointless deaths in mainstream modern comics. One that only exists to stir up big emotions and interest in a character who otherwise hasn't moved the needle since, her debut? Which was almost 10 years ago? The whole thing was also spoiled by Marvel, as was her resurrection. None of this went over well with Ms. Marvel's fans, among whom were the usual suspects, of course, who showed up on cue with their accusations of racism and sexism. Because how dare Marvel kill off a Muslim teenage brown girl? Come on guys, true equality demands that Kamala Khan get a pointless death and rebirth moment just like her white male counterparts. But to be fair, I think a lot of the anger around this event was justified from the Ms. Marvel fanbase because this was an obvious attempt to just drum up interest around Ms. Marvel's character before her movie debut in the Marvels, coming next month. Not that any of you care, because let's be real, who among us is actually going to go see that movie? Also, Kamala's a mutant in the MCU, so this change was really just an excuse to make her a mutant in the comics so that her comic and movie versions are on the same page in that regard. Put a pin in that mutant thing, because we're about to get into it. But first, the next panel. Well, Spider-Man, thank you for filling me in. You know, with the gap in your Krakoan backup? Of course. Not a confusing or scary concept at all. Now I've got to get back to the X-Men. You don't have to say it like that every time. Whew, okay, lots to unpack here. So yeah, Kamala's a mutant now. Always has been apparently, thanks to the power of retconning. Her mutant powers just hadn't manifested yet at the time of the whole Terrigen Mist incident, which activated her in mutant powers. This is also why the mist didn't horribly maim or kill her, because that's the effect that it actually has on mutants. So now she's an inhuman and a mutant. Yippee skippy. And because she's a mutant, she has a backup of her consciousness stored in Cerebro that can be downloaded into a new body by Professor X, because that's a thing now. Hello, modern X-Men. Oh, how I hate you. If this still doesn't make sense, don't worry. That's only proof that you're still sane. Kamala Khan saved the world again. Hot dog. Panel 3 gives us more of this wonderful, wonderful smile that just continues to stare into me. She doesn't just look past me, she looks through me with those lifeless eyes and that smile. It just looks like she's ready to do things to me that should never be spoken out loud. Also, why are her eyes crooked? That's weird. That's strange. Her eyes are, I don't like the placement of her eyes. It's not just that they're perfect lifeless circles, it's that they're placed weirdly on her face. It makes it look like the right side of her face is about to stretch out or burst open, and it's weird.
No sir, I don't like it.
Also, we get treated to a full view of her X-Men outfit, which of course looks like hot garbage. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. The sleeves are fine. The colors are fine. The rain boots are fine. It's all fine. Next, we're treated to a very simple but profound shot of Peter staring out and then looking back at Kamala. I imagine at this moment he's only having one thought. Why the hell is this bitch still in my comic? And to wrap the page up, we're treated with a nice over-the-shoulder look of Kamala looking back at Peter, simply going, And this, they did it again. Every time I do this series, there's always 1 or 2 panels that just sum up the whole thing. And I feel like this is it. You can almost tell that she's trying to emote. Kinda, sorta, but not really. Like an AI consciousness forever trapped in the uncanny valley. It understands just enough of human emotions to put forth an earnest effort, but it will never, ever, ever hit the mark. And still, those damn eyes, and that smile, it doesn't invite you to come in on your own. It pulls you in against your will. You know you don't want to look at it, and you shouldn't, but you can't help. It's the eyes. The eyes. The eyes! I think this page perfectly sums up what Miss Marvel is as a character, what her death and resurrection has meant to the world of Marvel, and really the state of comic books in general. Lifelessness, a lack of genuine emotion or even conscious human thought. And it's a shame because it didn't have to be like this. Miss Marvel didn't have to be a character who falls flat time after time, only brought out to drum up interest in a larger project. Miss Marvel didn't have to be this type of character. And it sucks because her MCU version is actually pretty good in my opinion. Not to say that she was given a whole lot to do in her Disney Plus show, but the actress who plays her, Iman Vellani, really puts her all into the role. You can tell that she not only has a love and appreciation for the character of Miss Marvel, but she genuinely loves the MCU and Marvel Comics as a whole. The whole story of Iman Vellani getting the role as Miss Marvel is actually one of the most meta castings in history. She was a big fangirl who then got to become the character who she's loved all these years, just like Kamala Khan is in universe a fangirl who became an actual superhero. I really wish they would do something with her character in the MCU, but I'm not holding my breath. I hope Iman goes on to have a nice, long, and successful acting career away from the clutches of Disney because she is way too good for this shit show of a cinematic universe and company. Tell me, how did you guys feel about this? How did you feel when you first saw this page? Because I know you've seen it by now. Were you one of the Kamala Khan fans that lost their shit when they saw this? Or were you like 98% of the rest of the population and either shrugged it off or got a nice little chuckle before going about your day? Either way, let me know how you feel in the comments below and let's have us a conversation. Thanks for watching and listening. I'm Animaine. Talk to y'all later. Keep it cringe.